Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And today is what? Friday? Friday. It is Friday, isn't it?
It's Friday.
Okay, good. I got one right. I got one right this week. Well, I guess we're just, this week. Okay, see, my mind is just.
All the
Everything
days
seems
of the
to be
week
like
always mesh together for me. I don't even know what day of week it is half the time. So
Well, I'm telling you, man.
I don't either. I don't either.
Anyway,
It's funny how
you
when you
feeling?
when you let go of time, it just kind of everything just kind of melds together a little bit. You know.
absolutely.
It's been doing that for a minute. And like I don't know if it's us or somebody we talked about, but I wonder if it is because of those jumping of timelines. We're just jumping back and forth. There's so many people that are manifesting right now. Truly, like we're just jumping back and forth between timelines.
Yeah.
And I mean, because when I do sleep, man, I wake up and I'm wore out.
Yeah. I've been really active in my sleep for sure these days. I feel actually worn out when I wake up too.
Last night, man, literally like
waking up 4 or 5 times at night.
Last night, like I was just trying to fight to go to sleep. It was one of those like I would go to sleep just for a minute, but then I'd wake up in some crazy dream and then have to wait and go back to sleep and then fall asleep just for a minute, then wake up in another crazy dream. Like, what is going on, man? Yeah. That's why I was saying jumping back and forth between these timelines. Yeah. Something's going on.
It's like a cosmic convergence, isn't it?
There you go. Shameless plug.
Shameless.
I've been really active in my sleep. I mean, definitely jumping different timelines, different dimensions, stuff like that going on. And I mean, I've had a pretty good week. It's been good, just working and stuff like that, and enjoying the outside as because I don't hide in my house. You know what I mean? They'll have to shoot me before that happens, and it's just the one thing I've been struggling with, but now I'm actually coming out of that too, is I'm struggling more with the mental capacity of humanity that I have to deal with out there, because I realize that people would rather believe a lie than do any work for truth. I mean, it would be so easy to deceive the majority of this world. So I don't really give these dark forces much credit for it. I just don't understand how people can accept such stupidity just without even questioning it at all. Like it's just I've had a couple times where I've told people it blatantly lately, and I only do it just to see if something in them sparks later on, because I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't really know what to say for a lot of the people out there in the general public right now. Like almost like walking robots. Like they just.
It's like the whole world's coming off of a 3-day bender.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's all right. I can relate to that. But it's I was talking with one of my best friends today that I've had. He's been a friend of mine for 25 years, and he was just having a come apart, dude. And he was the victim. I was treating him bad. I wasn't treating him bad, but he was just one thing after the other. He's like, I don't have enough time to do this, time to do that. You're doing this. I'm like, buddy, I don't even know what you're talking about. I love you, but you're tripping out. It's like that with everybody that just go through these.
Yeah.
It's premenstrual is what it feels like. It's just rough.
Hey, Brian, are you moving around a lot?
No.
Okay, because you're a mic. I don't know if it's the connection on it, but it's just cutting in and out. I mean, we can deal with it, but I just didn't know. You've been freezing up, so that's why I was asking if you was moving around a lot. So
I'll unplug this mic and we'll go from there for a little bit. Maybe it's just the mic.
It may be.
Can you hear me? Did it break up then?
No, you're good now.
All right. Well,
all right. Party at the Moon Tower. Man, I don't know how it's like down there in Florida, but I tell you what, here in Tennessee, thankfully, I don't know. My mom was talking about some other winter we go through, but I'd never heard of it. But to the best of my knowledge, this is Blackberry winter, and this is supposed to be the last winter. So is it cold down there in Florida?
You wake up in the morning, it's about 65 to 70, and then it heats up pretty good. But it's the weather's been up and down. We're supposed to be really hot, cold. It just goes back. You can never predict it. You can never, it's just always different.
Mandy Moose said that 3 planets have just gone retro too, so that messes with people. Yeah, that's for sure. I never realized how much the planets did mess with people until I started following it. Yeah. And it does make a difference.
Oh yeah. It sure does. I didn't either, B. I didn't either. So how's everybody planning going? Is everybody planting their seeds early?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because actually we just got done plowing up the garden this week, and he ran a disc through it today. So getting ready to.
That's awesome. I mean, in July, I'm gonna start my first project of all my self gardening and growing my own vegetables and stuff like that. So, and I think that's the key with all the chaos.
Fun
is, you got to find your path. You got to find your path to nature. I mean, I'm not really super set on the whole saving the world aspect like I have been at one point in time. I do my work against.
It's up to each individual, my friend.
Absolutely. I do my work against the dark forces, and I mean, really what we're dealing with is such a as soon as you can see it yourself, you can just see how insanely stupid these dark forces are. So how they like, if they did, it's just the power. It's just the power of the TV. It's just the power of the media. It's all that they have. Beyond that, really, it's just ridiculous. I mean, because the stuff they come up with, kindergartner could come up with a better plan than they do, but somehow everybody.
I always ask myself, how much will I allow? What am I going to experience here? Anytime something like that comes up and you see an obvious darkness, I always remind myself that that's an aspect of me. How much am I going to allow? And, even with the astral and working in the astral, sometimes it's good to take a break and astral project yourself into a plant or something like that, and just really ground in and spend some time there. Maybe even throw an overlay of yourself when you were like 20 years old over your body when you come out, and sometimes that tends to help. But it's been rough lately, it has been.
Well, and I think that's a thing. I think with all the chaos going on, and I know they're going to vaccines, microchips, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it is still true that nothing can harm us. Even if they vaccinated us and we are open beings of whatever, we are like source beings, it can't harm us if our vibration is on a certain level. And I think that that's really what this is all going to come down to, is who's ready to let go? Who's ready to let go of the beast system? Who's ready to let go of this economic system, this world system? Remember what your children are about. Remember what the animals are about. Remember what nature's about. Those that can get that will find a peace throughout this incarnation. And that's even something that I'm doing right now. I've been fighting it, and I'm kind of like, our energy, our vibration will bring the truth. So we just got to start being it again, instead of, hacking back and forth. We know all the politicians suck. We know all this sucks. And if you don't know that, well, you will know it at some point in time. It's not where to put your time or effort. But
that's exactly where we're at in that book I'm reading too, because it's not the way he reads it out. And what does he know, or what do I know? But he says, basically it's a point where each individual comes to that point to where you can drop all the other nonsense and you focus on your spirituality. And that depends on whether you ascend to the next level. It's not by ascending everyone else and some massive ascension happening.
Right.
I mean, this is going to keep on keeping on, It is at an individual
It's
basis.
like each of us have our own individual world, and everybody just kind of peeks around the corner. It's what it feels
we
like
help
to
each
me.
other
And it's
along.
not to be selfish, yeah, but we help each other along. But that's what it really feels like. There's that many timelines, that many alternate realities that would just you just do you. Don't it's not. It's like not even going out and protesting or sticking it to the man. It's just about raising your own vibration and working on that spirit.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
failing regularly. Failing regularly.
That part.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of errors that I've made lately too, for sure. You know what I mean? Because it's part of what they want you to do is get dragged into all that complete negative cycle. So it can be tricky to not get dragged into it, but it is to each and every one of us to walk the path. I mean, to know what's right inside your heart and actually follow it instead of compromising it for the gain of something worldly, because we're always challenged with that. We're always challenged with that thing, where completely something better, but then you face this worldly decision where you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, I know that this is right, but I'm going to make this decision due to maybe a little bit of pressure, even just internal, just a little bit of still programming that you gotta, wipe out. And that is that's where we're at right now. This earth is challenging us. It's challenging everybody. And I guess if you really want to know what you're made of, you don't find that out unless you're challenged either. So, I mean, I guess we have to find the positive even through the negatives of a journey. We're eternal. When you start to remember that you're eternal, you can start to see like this thing that, we feel like, oh, Gates is going to get us, or Trump's going to get us, or Trudeau's going to, they're going to get us long term. No, they're not. They're just going to eat a big karma ice cream sickle shortly. That's all they're going to get. Like all their money and all of these things, they mean really very, very little on the eternal journey.
When you look at it from a consciousness standpoint, I always find compassion for these people. If for those that are able to do it, able to observe their consciousness, they've got the masculine and the feminine, and parts of their consciousness is all broken up. Some of them have tech just interjected into them, and they're sad. So their consciousness is saying one thing, their bodies, their physical bodies are doing one thing, their light bodies are doing another, but it's all about their experience. But I just have compassion for some of these people because they're literally being controlled by these dark forces.
Like I said, I think that's why we're overpopulated, is because we have been held as a prison planet so long. All these souls keep coming back trying to get it right.
Yeah, and the AI just keeps kind of tripping you up. You just got to realize what we're in, and no matter how deep we go into these realities or matrices or whatever, we always have that ability to stop the sentinel. So that's just what we got to remember.
It's like that movie As Above, So Below. If anybody hasn't seen that movie, you definitely need to go watch it. But it's funny, they go down into those cave systems, and they it have a rock slide behind them. They can't get out. But the further down, deeper they went, and finally, when they went to the deepest point they could go to, that was the way out.
Well, there's no being here that's on a true spiritual walk that hasn't been to very dark places in this incarnation. We've all been there. Maybe some haven't, and are walking their journey. But I think that's it. I'm just having sort of like a download come across me, but it's like, the whole thing of being observers. you know,
Yeah.
observers, even if we're in a matrix, right? Even if everything around us isn't totally real in the natural, which actually I do think a lot of it is. I think there's a matrix attached to the natural, a portion of natural here. So it's you learn to do what is right. This is like the whole concept of why not all things, or why say sin, why sin can't be allowed into heaven. That's not some metaphorical, sin, cheesy little thing. Like, if I was to look at that deeper, it's like you can't experience a higher level of peace and a place of higher level of peace if you want to bring with you what is not of peace and not of natural. That's why you have to learn it. That's why you finally have to see what's bad, evil, dark, whatever it may be, and understand what it is and make that personal walk. We're all making an individual walk, because when we leave this journey, we do it as our own internal spirit souls,
We go out on our own. We come in on our own and we go out on our own.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't mean you're totally alone going through it either. Like, it's not to fear it. It's like, it's just, you can overcome this world. And that means letting go of what is not natural in this world, and at least coming to an understanding of it. And yeah, like, it's definitely challenging. We have challenges thrown at us all the time. I see it around people around me. They're getting their challenges. I've been through my challenges, and
Speaking of, Dick Trickle said in chat, mentally, emotionally, I have gone through the hardest times of my life the last 2 weeks. I feel physically beat down. Well, congratulations, brother. You're well on your way then, because you can ask anybody in here. You got to hit rock bottom before you can get back up. So good times are ahead, my friend.
Brian asked me to do a show the other day, and I was like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I was just whooped, and then I had to spend, after going through whatever it was, I had to spend another 2 days rejuvenating and building it back up. I had to.
That's why that's why this is the first show again of this week, man. After Monday, like, I feel like I've got beaten down. So, but yeah, like I said, Dick Trickle, you're on your way, buddy. It's sunshine, roses, and lollipops ahead from now on. Well, not really, but as far as the rock bottom, that's, and that's funny. Like I said, the only person that hasn't has been Robert V, but I know there's more out there. I'd like to find more people like that, just to get it from their perspective, the awakening process, so to say. So, anyway.
Isn't it fun?
Oh, real quick before I forget, if anybody's ordered T-shirts, I got an email from Teespring the other day, and they said because of this virus thing going around that, I guess half of their workforce is there. So T-shirts are getting out, but it may be a couple of weeks longer than you anticipated. So just to let everybody know real quick, including Mary Williams. So anyway.
Patience.
Yeah. Because see, I ordered a couple too, and they were supposed to be here like 3 days ago, but no, not yet. So when I get mine,
I'm gonna order my T-shirts and put them like the classic cars. I'm just gonna put them in little spots because those are gonna be big time, worth big bucks.
Right. Don't know about all that one. I wanted to show this the other night, but people that I always talk about the life straw and stuff, and this is what I'm talking about. This thing, it filters 1,000 gallons. And you basically just drink it like that. 1,000 gallons, and it gets 99.99999% of everything out. $16 online.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, $16 online.
They don't sell those at Walmart, do they?
Yeah, actually they do. They sell.
Really?
Yeah, they're 21, I think, at Walmart.
Oh man.
So
check that out.
That's something good just for everybody to have. That way Man, you got fresh water, and you know it's small. It's easy to get around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
check that out.
That's a great little device for sure. And that's the thing too. And I know that certain things have been going out lately about food shortages and this and that. I'm just telling everybody that the universe, that source, that just walk your path, and all will be provided. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we might miss a gourmet meal every once in a while. Well, I've missed a lot of gourmet meals in my life. You're going to be okay. There's food around us at all points in time. I think the key and it's so important to focus on nature, to focus on strengths. Yeah. All of these things, all of them are just fears. They're literally just fears. I mean, you're going to lose a car, your jobs, we're going to adjust. Life is fluid. It's always ever changing. Nature is ever changing. So you have to be prepared through your whole entire existence to accept and embrace change and go through the ups and go through the downs, and don't get trapped into the fear of things. I mean, God, would it be nice if we could just take every TV and just throw them in the garbage and just be done with that. Maybe just get onto internets and certain aspects where you can actually have, beneficial communication without the propaganda. But there's a positive to everything that's going on right now too, because I have seen a lot of people and things become exposed, and I have seen people that I would not think grasp onto it awaken more because of it. I am starting to see that people are questioning the narrative. I mean, some people know, some people are so narcissistic in their own viewpoints. Like, I know there was a wedding going on today, and some girl got onto Facebook, and she's like, I hope they all die because they're not social distancing.
Oh, I heard something about that.
Like, wow, are you ever beneficial to the cause? You know what I mean? And I guess
somebody's making
the reason I say that is because let these people bypass you. Let them walk their own journey, because that person said that, it will waken somebody else up, because somebody else will look at that crazy comment and say, hey, hang on, they were just having a wedding. They planned this wedding for a year. They went out, and I know, so they did it. And really, has anybody seen anything go on with this disease? And it'll help spark them and waken them up. So, even though we're going through all this negativity, it is helping to wake a lot of people up. Like, we've talked about it, that the whole system had to crash. So,
well, I mean, that's why I think this whole event that's taken place, is kind of backfired, because most Americans have, pretty much just kind of went along with their lives.
My father woke up.
But what I'm saying is, and now that's why they're pushing this second wave.
Oh, second wave. Yeah, it'll be third wave. It'll be whatever they make up. Honestly, it's like a bunch of preschool children going like, no, go with this. Like, and people just go, oh no, it's like crazy, man. Like,
You know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of baseball games back in the day. I'm talking like Major League, when you went there and they did the wave throughout the stadium. It took them a few times to get going around completely. That's what it reminds me of. That's what it is. It's energetic. Fear.
It's
and everybody's going, screw that.
Fear. Like, now there's murder hornets. I do get a really good laugh. I get a good laugh over some of these things coming out on the internet, like these little dragon bats from China coming to destroy us all. I saw a best one today. It was squirrels with flamethrowers from China coming to destroy us all.
Did you see the the avatar I did for the video tonight? Did you see it?
Oh, sure.
I'm asking either one of y'all.
Nope.
I didn't. Nah, I didn't see it. No.
Oh, come on, fellas. Y'all are slacking on me.
we were just trying to get here, remember, B?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, this is true. I can't pull it up. It don't matter. Go back and look at it. It was something to the effect of gold, I don't know, packing. It had a cat on a shooting lasers out of its eyes, riding on a unicorn. I can't remember what it said.
Yeah, I had actually.
Wait till people actually start seeing these things, seeing like different beings. That's going to really be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that.
There's been a lot more going on in the skies lately. I've even seen it.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Have you seen a lot of things? You've got to have good skies to see things like that up there in Canada. Have you seen a lot of activity, Kent? Have you seen a lot of UFO activity as of late?
I haven't been looking.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure that there is. I mean, whenever I look at the sky, I constantly see different stuff.
There ain't an inch.
Man,
it's packed on every level.
Yeah,
it really is. It's getting busy up there.
I let Brian do
and you can tell
UFO stuff. I can just catch it in the morning and stuff like that. So it's perfect.
It's fun to go out and watch, and then you see clouds on the same level, the same wind blowing one way, but they're all going in different directions. That's just on a 3D level. And then you got to imagine at every frequency, there's another fleet. At every frequency, there's another fleet. It's pretty awesome.
Like I said, is every frequency a different dimensional plane?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, some blend together. Now it's like 5 radio stations, 10 radio stations all being played at once, especially at different times of the day and at different points on the ley lines. Man, it is something else. But then there are other times, like I call it the crack of the day, in the evening, if you just go out and sit, and there's this, I would say there's this 5-minute span where if you're open to those frequencies, buddy, you're going to see some shit, and it's not... You're gonna be right again. You're gonna accept crazy. You're gonna put it over you like a coat, and you're gonna walk proudly, because that's what it is. That's what it's like. Yeah. And there are different beings on every level. You talk about dragons and squirrels with flamethrowers, buddy. If you can imagine it, it exists. Yeah. It's just
that's actually a very cool principle of reality. If you can imagine it, it can exist. So if you think about what we are, you think about source or God or whatever you want to call. If you think it can exist, how do you think the principles of source works? I mean, really, it's anything is possible in creation, right? So. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I actually had a cool one. I wanted to talk to you about it, Brian. Alan sent you that picture, and then he sent it to me. And that entity that was in the air above his backyard was immense. And I was like, that's wicked how you picked that up. I mean, that is just a full-on huge entity on a different dimensional plane or different frequency right by ours, overlooking. That's a protector being. That gives a concept.
A lot of feline beings. He has a lot of feline beings around him all the time. All the time.
Alan is just one of the most enlightened people that I've ever met in my life. He is definitely a true child or true, whatever you want to call it, like prophet, but not a prophet. I don't mean to go that way, but no, he's very, 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 very aware. And
I'm so grateful to be able to connect with people like this, like you and I, Alan, Brian. I mean, it's the different steps into getting here to come into the peace. Because you remember, like in the beginning when you first started waking up and all this stuff was just like, you kidding me? wait a minute, what
I'm
the?
still like that.
And then that was it was like an addiction for a while. You kind of fed into those conspiracy things, and then you come to that place of peace. And I'll be honest, without that addictive conspiracy thing, man, I'd have never gotten to this end. You have to jump down the rabbit hole in order to get to a place where you're like,
well,
this is
that's
awesome.
because you're starting to question things, and then the ultimate question after you research things is how did this start? How did we begin? So of course, if you're really inquisitive, that's where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
It's great.
You know, it's funny how
this world used to be boring.
Yeah.
What was you going to say?
You go down different paths of learning. You know, we're all conspiracy theorists. That's just the most ridiculous.
Yeah. It is.
Ever. I mean, people are looking for real answers. You know, I mean, if you should be triggered in your soul, in your spirit, that there's a lot of bullshit fed, you know, here on this level. So if you're not looking for it, like the word conspiracy theorist, actually you're a truth seeker. I actually find the mainstream to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I call it conspiracy realist.
Yes, of the mainstream. You're so far from any level of truth there that you're actually the conspiracy theorist. See, everything's upside down in a way, you know. So.
I found another word here recently that I've realized doesn't have a lot of bearing. Truth. Yeah, that word right there will stump you up in itself.
That's why you can always ask, what is truth? I mean, that's
right.
Answer that one for me.
You got to stay fluid. I mean, ready to change, because, you know, this reality is bending and twisting, and physics goes out the window. I mean, at a moment's notice, it's like there are no rules. It's what we make.
I mean, really, honestly,
is what we
they keep telling us that there are rules, but there really aren't any rules.
There ain't one. Not one.
Not when it comes to
creating. It's all, do what you want. And I am taking ice cream with me when I go. Period.
Well, thank you.
You'll be able to create ice cream too in other incarnations. So I'm sure it's not.
Oh, we better. Yes, that's definitely a must. I think it was one of my things. If I'm going back, I'm going to enjoy the ice cream, by God.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you, man. I meant to talk to you before we came on about this, but you know, we had so many issues going on. But you know, you've done a lot of journey work and things like that. Have you ever done any journey work that ended up through the Knights Templar? Because man, I've been getting downloads galore through Knights Templar.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've looked into the Knights Templar. I mean, it's definitely come up. I haven't gone like deep down the rabbit hole of the Knights Templar, no. But because, as I'm getting sort of a download right now, I get this split version of the Knights Templar. It's almost like the split version of like the Jesus thing. Like, obviously the dark has corrupted this entire aspect of it to make the mainstream or the religions and stuff follow these particular beings. Now, the true Christed beings actually would be beings like us, like avatars of truth, bringing truth. That's really what it is. And it's not just one story. But I get this feeling like the Knights Templar is the same thing. I believe that there was a group of bringing deep truths in a dangerous time.
Well, they were looked at as esoteric back in the day.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And you know what? Okay, for all intents purposes, here's what darkness does. Here's what the devil does. Here's what, you know, they take something that is real and good and then insert it into their own aspect and then twist it and then use it, but they keep certain aspects of it close enough to the truth that they can deceive with it. So I think like
create fear.
Yeah, like I think the Knights Templar is a true esoteric group that was trying to protect the truthful knowledge. And I also think there's another aspect of the Knights Templar that falls under and spun out into all these secret societies.
Oh,
and stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when the further I got down to it, it's basically what they were protecting is what we're trying to teach, that there is nothing between us and God, or, the creation. There is nothing between us at all. And, that we are the creators. And the heart, to them, the heart was the Holy Grail.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I want to talk to you off air at some point about some of this, because, man, I've had all kinds of stuff. And like I said, some of these things are like names and stuff I don't even know.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Brian, was you getting ready to say something?
No, sir. No, I was listening. Go right ahead.
No, I was, and that's a really cool aspect of, if you want to understand source, God, whatever, I like just look at everything that's natural and then see the creation in it. And it's all around all the time. And I think that that's a big principle of, even with I know that all these books and all these things have twisted all this stuff up so much. But say if you were to take maybe like a message out of the Bible or something like that, the message is to let go of that and just to look and be. It's not about some crazy way to leave here when you die or something like that. We don't have to, like, it already happens. Like, I wish I could explain even deeper when I've left this place, like when I've left and been outside and come back in, to understand it, it's just it's more natural than you think. See, the more in tune you are with natural, the easier it is. It's okay. When we're going to leave here, and I know people talk about this, the matrix traps and like the afterlife traps and the light traps and all of this, the more you just understand what is real within you, and then the more you understand the deceptions here, the easier that transition really is, because it's easy to see and it's easy to discern the bullshit. But if you live your whole entire life in the bullshit of this, which people do, and lots of people will, they won't leave it. They can leave it. They don't have a choice to leave it, but they actually won't let it go until they know who they are, when they go through that cycle of learning.
And it's nothing to get frustrated over. I mean, we've been there. We've gotten frustrated over it, because you hear people, they come up with those new rules, the new sets of 10 commandments that they like to dish out, especially with spirituality. This is what you have to do. You have to be sober. You have to, and I'm just making a point, but there's all these new rules that come up for you to be able to ascend. Everybody's going to ascend damn well when they want to. That's just a spirit's choice.
Just be.
Even those that are
just
in the
be.
Just be.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how it's upside down? Because it's actually shedding the rules. It's shedding the laws.
Yeah.
The natural law is just existence and love and compassion and beauty of nature. You see, the laws are the trap. And I've met this. Yeah. I met so many people, especially when I was really going through almost like I call it my walkabout. It was my journey. All these journeys that you see in the reading the Bible, like when Jesus did this, I've done that. We do that. That's just your walkabout. Stop worrying about this one man. Live your walkabout. It'll
move
happen.
past the Anunnaki memo.
Yeah, like you just become who you are. So you can heal anything then. Because you know why? Because during your walkabout and as you let go of everything, all of those natural things come back to you. It's just a vibration. You know, most people are sick because they have some sort of dark either entity or energy attached to them. And everybody, like, here's the miracle of healing. You just unattach it from them. I'll see people in these spiritual channels going on and on and on about, you know, what foods to eat, what this to eat, and that's, of course, the more natural you eat, the better it's going to be for you. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But it's like these things, like, okay, so to cast out a demon or cast out an energy, it's just because you are flowing in that frequency level that you can look at that person and you can actually command it, like commanding it is like moving its frequency field away from somebody. So you then give them the space to heal themselves. You see, you could heal everybody every single day. If they don't accept it and they don't accept their own power to take control over themselves, it will return. Of course, anything can return because they're going to quickly pull it back to them. So
I just saw a short little clip. This another woman who sees these light beings, and it's the woman who uses the 8mm camera. If you guys have ever run across that, and it was like in the 50s when she started this process. But she's filming these light beings, and in one of the frames, there they are, just all light. They're showing themselves, and she's Catholic. Catholic Church said to him, "You know, you're contacting demons and spirits." Well, within her, she questioned it. She said, "Well, am I?" And actually, some dark things started to happen, but that was only because she was creating that vibration. And then she realized, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you Catholic people, you. And then she pulled back and changed her vibration. And it's all reflective. It is so, everything is so completely heart reflective. And when you connect them together, it's like what you could see on her face. She kind of went through it again and you could feel the emotion. She's like, she reconnected back with them. And it was like an aha moment, you know? It was beautiful to see that. And everything is reflective. Everything is reflective. If you want to experience that dark and go through World War III, you have the option to do it, and there's no judgment. Just do it. Have fun in whatever way you want. All of us have been trying to save each other and save the world when we just needed to go inward and save ourselves and be an example. You know, but the thing is every time we get to that next level, we jump timelines again. And in that timeline, it lines up. It's pretty bitching. You got to admit. It's fun.
That is actually a wicked explanation, brother. I love that. That is actually very profound and so true. I mean, you are free to choose your path. You know, if you want to choose
no judgment
of watching TV set all day long and worship something, well, then that is your path. Like, you know, that we do have those personal journeys and choices, and that's what brings groups like us to where we are at here, and you know, even through this channel, and because that's the beauty, honestly. That's the beauty of Source and of the journey and of all of what we all are. At any point in time, we will be led to be helped in our understanding and in knowing each other. We are truly brothers and sisters. And this is...
And one.
And one, yeah.
In every way. In every way. That's why I can't look at the darkness anymore and not reflect on it and say, how is that aspect of me to be healed within me? Not to heal that person, to heal that thought within myself. That's the change. That's something new. And in every step of the way, there's another aspect of ourselves that's bigger than us, that's ready to step in and give us the next thing. We think that it's like these steps that we're going up. It's not. It's the steps that we're going in. The further in, it's just, I saw it all backwards for the longest time, and my poor wife, well, it's part of the process. It's part of the process. She goes, I just wanted to kick you because you are so holier than thou. I wasn't even trying to project that out. I was just trying to say, hey, something's different about this reality. I'm trying to share it with you. But eventually, when I stopped talking, started being, she came along. That's the whole thing. But now, and that's the other thing that I think about. There's so many versions of us being married, and it's kind of like being married to millions of cars. If you think about it, because you're jumping timelines constantly.
Yeah.
But we're jumping towards our vibration. It's really fun. It really is. It's like a roller coaster. It's the best roller coaster.
Saturnian son, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hide you, but I got rid of it. So you should be able to comment again. Yeah, unhidden. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Brian.
No,
I'm good, buddy. I'm all right.
But we did have another one that I wanted to read over here. I Payaso says, do you not think you and I chose to be here at this time to witness all that is unfolding? Because all that is unfolding is relevant to our spiritual evolution. We learn, grow, develop, become, we are it. I know each and every one of us on this panel has said we chose to be here. I full-heartedly believe that. And I know you do too, don't y'all?
Oh yeah.
Anybody?
I'm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Somebody talk.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I lost I didn't hear you for a second there. So
do you feel like you chose to be here at this moment in time?
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I've also had enough messengers come to me to help guide me along. That's why sometimes I get frustrated with it, but I know kind of I even have a pretty good concept of where I was created, because we were created in different slightly different timelines of creation at the beginning. So yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot, but where you learn the most, literally,
what?
It just comes to you.
Oh yeah.
It just comes to you. You just remember.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah.
Well, that's what I was talking about the other night. Like, things will pop in my head that I like when I was talking about those downloads of the night before. I don't know where that word come from. Never seen it in my life, but it came from somewhere. And I mean, I've looked a couple of them right, and one of them was a church, and another one was a road. So I mean, they're real things. I don't know where they're coming from.
I'm wearing. Okay, so when you're dreaming and you're jumping timelines and you're remembering, and like in my dream last night, I was kind of following my dad, and he was on a motorcycle, and he got off, and it was quite an interesting dream, because I was following him on this motorcycle, and when he got off, he said, son, you don't have to chase me, because we're always going to be together through eternity. He says, when you have to let me go, you'll let me go. And when I'll be there, I'll be there. It was just an interesting concept, because I found myself in this dream standing on the side of the road as the cars were going by, and my dad was walking down in a my dad doesn't ride a motorcycle, not in this incarnation, and I was like, oh yeah, we're in an incarnation here, and we are there, but a lot of times in our dreams, we can talk on a spirit level with those around, and even those that aren't around right now. And that's a really cool factor. You're talking on a deeper spiritual level sometimes than when you're just straight in the incarnation. Now, you can talk on that level in your incarnation too, because this is your reality too. This is your existence too, as is that. So it's kind of a cool concept when you start to understand how it's all.
I had a point in case today with that. I hadn't talked to Nick in a couple weeks, and I was thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna send him a message right now. 3 seconds later, a message came from him. Just thinking of you, brother.
Always like that.
And then always like that. Always something like that. And then we drove to Destin today. We had some errands to run. And I started immediately thinking of my father. And all of a sudden he's on his Harley in front of us. It's shit like that just, it always gives me a resolve to know that vibration and frequency are everything throughout. And when you're in tune with it, when you understand it, it's like, man, I'm telling you, the day we drop these phones, the day we take our phones and chuck them in the lake or whatever,
I'm telling you, there'll be a huge
really
progression.
Going to be tuning in.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be a progression overnight. Can you imagine that? I mean, but it's just, we drop them, we'll put them up when we're ready. And there's not there's no reason to crack a whip to get it to be there a second before, because everything will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Wendy Ellen Farrow says in chat, I'm curious to know why you guys are not talking about the solar events on June 21st and December 31st. All portals will be open, atmosphere changes, DNA changes. It's going to be huge. To be honest with you, because that's one reason I don't really schedule shows anymore, unless it's in my bubble right now. It's not pertinent to me at this point. That's the reason I haven't covered it. So, and to be honest with you, I think everybody else will cover it just fine. But that's just me. I mean, I'm done of dealing with speculation. That's why I just want the only thing that matters to me is spiritual evolution of me and my soul family. That's my number one,
baby.
Yeah. Everything else is gravy.
Like gravy.
We experience those. We experience those whether
I look forward to it.
Focus on them or not, right? Like whatever is to be, and that's exactly what it is. It's fluent, but there's portals opening and closing
everywhere, every day,
all of the time.
Oh my
too. God. And yes, maybe at different times, bigger and bigger events, but all time is an event, right? I do understand a concept of myself. I'm in multiple incarnations right now, as are all of us actually right now too. And it's kind of a weird concept to understand. So when you're reading or you're understanding something from the past or thinking on the future, you are connected to that already at this moment in time. So you're kind of in all places. It's just your focus, your point of attention within this incarnation is also on this incarnation, but you're thinking out to those times too. Like we're all going to leave this incarnation, no matter how many solar events or
one way or another.
Yeah.
Or how many asteroids come by and threaten to hit us, but it's like this COVID thing. It's like this mass.
I don't say, dude, Brian, don't be saying that word, man. Don't.
What I say?
Don't say, dude. They know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's like let me try and rephrase it. Sorry about that. Not my vibration, really.
The virus.
It's this group. The whole consciousness would not have allowed this to take place if it wasn't an acceleration of events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's an acceleration of mass consciousness happening. Otherwise, we'd still be working every day, doing the same thing we were doing 2 years ago.
I hope I didn't piss her off. I didn't mean anything. Wendy Ellen, I wasn't saying anything bad. I hope I didn't piss you off. There she is. She just, I didn't see her chat again. I was like, I hope I didn't come across wrong. It's just, that's not my reality right now.
Yeah,
I take it day by day, minute by minute. I'm telling you, I have to. Otherwise,
we can bog ourselves down with all that stuff.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'll go crazy
from one thing to the next.
Ooh. Not for me.
You know, the other thing is we all offer different expertise levels and understanding levels of certain aspects. There's so many aspects of understanding, you know, on all levels. If you wanted to break down a piece of grass and know everything about it, the levels of understanding we go into is quite immense, actually. Right?
I would recommend that too, by the way.
Hey, real quick, Wendy, like the reason I said that, Wendy, is because a lot of times I get taken out of context, and I just seem to rub people wrong sometimes. But real quick, Mary, when it says that Trump said that he disclosed something about wormwood today, really? I mean,
I don't know.
I found a worm in my garden today.
I mean, if he did, I mean, I think it would be bigger news, but I don't know. I do know that there's all kinds of asteroids coming in, and I mean, that's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. It may not be our lifetimes, but we will get hit by another catastrophic asteroid again, or meteor. This planet will go through that again.
That's just what we're saying, is you get to jump so many timelines that you get to experience anything you want.
Yeah.
And we're so bogged down and waiting for the now. It's just like, you can experience it all if you want to experience
just change the radio station.
Change your radio station. Every time you decide to eat some banana pudding or have a cup of coffee, you are splitting off to a different timeline. I mean, man, if people understood what this reality really was.
Craig, I haven't ever had banana pudding, I think, in my life, and I'm craving it all of a sudden.
You've never had banana
That's
pudding?
Because I'll tell you why. Dude,
You've never had banana pudding?
I don't think so, no.
Oh my God, dude.
That sounds good, though.
Dude,
I think
that's one of my favorites.
It is delicious, baby.
Oh, have you been eating some?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the goods right there, Kent. You got to do that.
Hey,
you need to eat it somewhere when you come down south. You got to eat it down south somewhere, though.
Absolutely. I love bananas.
Kent, you don't have to. You can go to Old Wally World up there. They sell it. One woman makes it, like, distributed throughout, but it's so good.
Yeah, that could be
regional. Oh, my goodness. It's so good.
They probably do that regional.
Oh, yeah. I don't know the name.
So,
you think so?
That's what I'm saying, Saturnian son. What? Never had banana pudding?
I don't think I have.
That's so good.
Yeah, dude, it is. Whew. God, y'all making me hungry.
Can't close your eyes. I'm going to send you this feeling right now.
I'm going to go get some.
Oh, baby.
I had some strawberry shortcake earlier. It was good. No, strawberry pie.
Funny. I was looking at that. It was either the banana pudding or the strawberry shortcake I was going to get.
So it's the end of the show when we start talking about
food. I just love these synchronicities. Isn't that why we're really in this reality? Isn't it the reason we came to this reality, so we could enjoy a pizza?
It's
some
good
banana pudding.
With a laugh, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
Who have I got tomorrow night?
Good.
I guarantee you, by this time tomorrow, I'll try banana pudding. I'll go find some. So yeah.
Okay,
the best banana pudding I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you won't regret it, buddy. You won't.
Oh, I know I won't. I love bananas anyways. So anything fruit, I like all fruit. It's, I'm sure. Yeah, I can make any fruit pudding and it would be good.
Yeah, I love fruit, man.
There's real vanilla bean in this banana pudding. I mean, real vanilla bean.
Ooh.
Right.
Me likey.
Listen,
both y'all give me a quick final thought.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
I think actually my final thought today is let's get positive again. Let's okay. You can't ignore.
Hey, if you're waiting on me, you're backing up, dude. I've been on the positive train for a while.
Well, you have, yeah. You have. I've been throwing bombs around lately at
yeah, I've seen some bombs you throw.
But it's coming out of that all the time and coming back to the positive. And I'm actually gonna back away from like the Facebook stuff for a little bit and just see and feel again, because I've always found that I'm able to do more when I'm away from that and just working through myself, working for those, you wait for those internal thoughts to come through you and guide you. And that's the way. And we stay positive through it. And, I got to try I have to try some new things. Like I just have to garden. I got to get into that perspective of life. And I'm really actually close to it. I'm actually really making that my future right now. So that's pretty cool. So.
That is pretty cool. Real quick, and I just want to say to everybody, I appreciate everybody sending me the videos, but I do want to say again, probably 9 times out of 10, I don't watch them. And I want to tell you why. I challenge each and every one of you out there to be mindful of what you allow into your reality. Don't allow any of this toxic TV. Don't allow any of this toxicity off Facebook. Don't allow any of this toxicity off YouTube. Stay with your thoughts and try to keep them in a positive way. And let me know how big of a difference that makes next week.
Great advice.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Anyway, Mr. Lunsford.
I'm gonna.
Huh? As the bell tolls.
That's all I have to say about that. Just vibrate as high as you can. And if you can't, then vibrate low. And if you can't do that, it's your choice. You don't have to do it. Anybody else says there are no rules to this thing. But I would recommend embracing love and unconditional love at that.
Absolutely.
For yourself first, and then the rest, because it will all just fall in line.
How can you love
another? And I
if
say
you
that,
love yourself?
and tomorrow I may fall flat on my face, but I will get up and I will love again. And that's all we can do. And go get yourself some banana pudding.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend. Well, listen, folks, till tomorrow night, I'll be back with Trina Phoenix and Robert V. Until then, be the frequency you want to receive, folks. Have a good night. Whoop, whoop.